they don't really want to tell you how to file a lawsuit. Well, I used ChatGPT, got all this stuff, and in 5 hours, I was able to put everything together to file it thing, which took my lawyers a couple years before they even got to that point. I did it in 5 hours with the help of ChatGPT. There's no way I would have been able to do that before. I would have spent more of my 5 hours just going through their stuff and correcting their mistakes.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. We have a Wolfpack rockstar on the show today. James Hund out of Colorado is going to be talking about AI, ChatGPT. But just to start, guys, I know a lot of people are talking about that right now in the business. It is crucial, but we're going to dig into some other really cool AI technologies, other things you can do with it going forward to grow your business. But James is a top producer out of Colorado. He's also an SEO and website expert, but he's transitioned a lot of his skill sets into the AI space. Very smart, very talented. He runs a Wolfpack mastermind call called the Agent Power Hour, which if you guys partner with us in the group, you'll have access to that as well. And we'll talk about that probably at the end of the podcast. But today I want to get James on here to talk a little bit about what he's done in the business and using AI right now to grow his business. He's actually taken on quite a few listings here as the year started, and he's building a lot of momentum. And I think a lot of that has to do with this marketing, time leverage, time management that he's using AI tools for. But welcome to the show, brother. Good to have you on here. Let's dig in. Maybe any quick talking points I missed, and then let's quickly just dig into ChatGPT and some of the main things you're using it for, and then we'll go into some of these other cool things you're doing with AI.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Connor. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. And I love to talk about this stuff because I lead a mastermind on it. And I do that because I just love learning more.
For sure. Consumption of information is crucial, but implementation is even more important. And that's one of the things I've seen you do, as well as a lot of people going through your group. Y'all are talking about a lot of high level stuff, but how did you stumble in? Like, what was the first thing you were doing that you kind of were like, I need to, because everybody's using social media, obviously. Everybody's using IG, Facebook, YouTube. But I was kind of on the front edge of the social media revolution. And I've been so busy now as an entrepreneur that as this AI stuff's taken off, I haven't been able to probably put my foot on it as much as I should. So I'm trying to do the best I can. But what was it that kind of like forced you to kind of say, okay, AI is here. Let me put some time into it. Because when it came out, it was really, is this going to be a big deal? Is this going to flop? Is this really going to be long-term? And now we know it is. So what was your first kind of experience with it, and what got you into kind of the AI stuff in the first place? And then we'll kind of look at some of the things you're doing with it that can help these agents.
Yeah. Was it probably a little over a year ago now when ChatGPT came out? Started using that. I'm like, oh, I hate writing and stuff because I take so long to like write out an email. So then I get my thoughts all organized, and I have like this program now that can just do it and find the major points in there. Just makes it so much easier. Just like then it was just like, oh, I'm just using it to like proofread stuff. And then I just really harnessed the power of ChatGPT. So that was actually, earlier last year, like I went to a real estate event. I believe it was the Tom Ferry event down in Dallas and stuff. And, it was good. But the biggest part, and even talking with other agents, everyone said that the biggest thing that they liked was the AI portion. And it was pretty basic stuff. And then went to EXPCon, and then, it was better on the AI and stuff, but it was still not actionable strategies that we could just implement right away. And then, so that's when I'm like, well, shoot, why don't we just take this call that I've been doing and just really transfer it into AI, but just not like, high level stuff and get people confused, but really just like, okay, here's exactly how you can use it to create an inspection objection. Here's exactly how you can use it for something simple like crafting email. Here's how you can use it to have a chat bot that can talk with potential clients that come into your CRM. So that's what I'm kind of focused on. I don't really get like too like super high level on it. I try and make it very easily implementable that you can use it right away.
Yeah, it's similar to a lot of people. It's time management, leverage. And also it increases the vocabulary and sometimes writes things in a much better way than a human could, even if you're a very intelligent person and choose your words correctly. But the fact that you can just say, do this, do that, and it's done in a matter of a second or two or a minute is really incredible. Some of the stuff I've seen people using these tools for, I used to spend months doing. And honestly, I don't know where the coaching industry is going to be going forward. I mean, really, when you think about a coaching industry, what that is you're paying them for the compilation of the information. Now, some are going to kind of piggyback off what's going on with the AI, but when the information's out there freely available and you're sending it to AI, it's going to do the same thing that we used to do, which was having to go out there, learn all these skill sets, learn the information, and then compile it and put it into like a training academy or course or something like that. And now you just simply type in AI, whatever, or I mean, whatever you're trying to learn, type it into the AI system, and it's going to pull out whatever you want. You can say, go watch so-and-so's YouTube channel, all 5,000 videos of it, and compile it into a synopsis and break it down. And it's just going to do all that for you. So what educators used to get paid for was the compilation of that information and making it to where it could be found more easily, and then followed more easily, meaning in a structured way. And so instead of just having to search all around the world, reading different books, learning from different mentors, and now it just centralizes it super quick. So curious to see how that happens and plays out over time. But what are some of the things that you would tell agents that they should definitely be doing using ChatGPT? That's kind of like, this has to be done. Otherwise, you're going to kind of get weeded out of the space. And if you're not using this, you're going to kind of get left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like an educator and stuff. When you start learning anything, you need to first not be afraid of it. So just start, literally, it's ChatGPT. So literally start chatting with it. Now, the next thing is get familiar with it. Now you want to make sure that you can have it respond the way you want it to respond. Now, there's a couple different ways of doing that. Now, my favorite way of doing that, now I might go a little long on this question here, but I would just like, since this is all pretty new, even the AI gurus out there, the first thing is try and get it to talk like yourself, respond like yourself, so it doesn't sound so generic. I know when someone is using ChatGPT and they don't know that that we can tell, because their email starts with, "Oh, I hope this email finds you well." ChatGPT, love saying that. Love saying dive deep, delve into all this stuff. That's not how a lot of us talk. Maybe there's some people out there that kind of talk like a robot. So what I do, I also use another AI called Otter.ai, and I have that for a couple of things. Like, I am at a real estate conference and I have that running so it can record a transcript, and then I can take that and then put in ChatGPT and get like bulleted notes. Now, what's really great, so like this call, I could take this and put the transcript into ChatGPT, and I'll just ask it. It's like, hey, tell me about the tone, my speaking style, my tone, my personality and stuff, especially when you have like a large sample size, and then it can really break it down. So like for me, for example, it's like, okay, you're direct, assertive, and you also don't use like complicated jargon. You try and make things easy to understand. You also try and connect with your audience. So with that information, and of course you can get way more detailed down than that. I'm like constantly tweaking it to get it just exactly how I want it. Then once you have that, then you can just start chatting with it. You can put in customized instructions. So on ChatGPT, if you have GPT-4, which is the $20 paid plan, definitely the one that I recommend the most. If you're going to cancel all subscriptions, that's the only one that I would keep if I'm canceling everything. That would be my go-to for that $20 a month. Cancel Netflix, keep GPT Turbo on that. So, but once you have that
advice, anyways, cancel Netflix. Sorry.
Yeah, cancel Netflix. Yeah. What are you doing? You're just wasting time anyway. Yeah. Yep. So once you get that dialed in, and like you put in customized instructions, you can tell it who you are, what you do. Like, hey, I'm a Denver realtor. I focus on move up home buyers that are in their 30s in the suburbs, something like that. So they kind of really understands you quite a bit. And I also like have a focus on mountain properties. And that's what you can put in that first box. And then the second box is how you can kind of tell it how to respond. And you can kind of tweak it to avoid talking just like a robot. Have it get rid of all the, I hope this email finds you well. let's dive deep into this. And then also with that second box, you can also program it for like varied sentence structures. So to avoid AI detection. So another one I use is detectable.ai. So if I'm ever doing a blog post or whatever else using AI, I'm going to throw it in there and make sure that I can avoid detection. Now, why would I avoid detection on that? Well, with Google and stuff, with AI and everything else coming out, you want to make sure that your stuff sounds very human-like, so you don't get blackballed by Google or some of the other search engines. So I think I went off on a pretty big tangent there. So
Yeah,
tell me where I need to fill
I
in.
mean, no, that's important because like a lot of people are using social media and they don't even think about it, but they're kind of penalizing you, like gaming the system. Like how people say you mess up with the algorithm. So what he's kind of breaking down is that if they think that you're gaming the system, you're not doing your own work and being the center of the information, that they're going to flag it a little bit. So you have to train the AI to sound more human than more robotic because it's going to get flagged and they can penalize you. And really, it's kind of like when you think about it, it's like people play Pokemon or whatever, and they like train their little fighters, or you're like raising a kid. You're really kind of training this. You're like raising it in a way to kind of grow up just like you, which is really what we do as a child to adulthood when you really think about it. And because it's not going to sound like it's going to sound like a robot, but then also you can like upload your entire say my YouTube channel, I can put into it, right, and it will start talking like me. And I can also, from what I understand, there's tools out there that can mimic my voice and sound just like my own voice, even though it's not really me. So if you want to go into some of that type of stuff, that I think they'd be
Kind of
cool.
piggyback off what you just said about training.
Yeah.
A lot of us has like virtual assistants and stuff, so we can really scale our time. So, I believe it's a really great opportunity for us to have a virtual assistant and ChatGPT, and it's going to really scale our time. Now, how do we do that? So, like, I have, if you're going, now I'm going to go to the next level here, a GPT builder. So you can build your own GPTs. Now, what that basically is you're kind of priming that GPT for a specific task that you want it to use. So I have one for like a YouTube script writer, a reel creator, and exactly how I like my content done. Now, the biggest one, if you get into the GPT builder, is again, make it talk like you. So what I did, I've got a GPT that now I can share with my virtual assistant. So I shared that with her. So now I'm like, hey, I need a newsletter for this. I need to, promote my next Agent Power Hour call or whatever else. Now she can, let's say I have Connor coming on to a call. Like, have you coming on? I can just give her your name, your Instagram handle. She'll do the research. She'll, find out, all the things. I'll give her some, big points that we're going to talk about. And then she can run it through that GPT and formulate a newsletter, formulate an Instagram post. And then also she can build a Canva off that. So it's a huge time saving for me to try and buy back my time. Because, I mean, as we all know, that's one thing you can't really replace is your time.
Sure.
So trying to take your 8-hour day, 12-hour day and turn it into a 36-hour day. Now that's where AI has been huge. So, learning it now and then going and then maximizing and scaling your business is how it's really helped me. Now, Connor, I know I went off another tangent there. So
I'll take no problem.
Yeah. What's that?
Yes, everyone's following along. You said something there in the midst of that about Canva. And so some of y'all may or may not understand Canva. Probably a lot of you do use it. But if you don't know, it's where you can create graphics and thumbnails for your YouTube videos. And I think a lot of people, James, think, like ChatGPT is only text and for writing blogs and posts and that type of stuff. But it can actually create pictures now, right? It can actually go and you can put in text form into it and have it literally go like read a blog or something and create a thumbnail that would be optimized. Is that correct? And they can actually create visual pictures, because I don't think a lot of people know that, and they're still out there trying to build their own thumbnails and things like that. But how does that all work?
Yeah, so pretty simple. When you have like GPT-4, you have access to DALL-E 3. So Dolly is image generator. Now it works super well because even a year ago we're like scouring the internet for royalty free pictures and stuff. Well, now you can just tell a ChatGPT what you want in a few sentences, and then you can use it. Um, and that's been huge. And then actually, I think just last night, Bard, which is on Google, which is like ChatGPT for Google type deal, they just released an image generator, and I was actually just playing around with it like an hour ago. But like I was like, hey, I just described my truck, my daily driver, and it's just like a perfect image of what my truck is, like just with a few sentences. Like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So like it's constantly evolving and constantly getting better. But we were talking about Canva. So on Canva, they also have like magic creation, and that image generator is pretty good too. So while you're building a Canva, obviously I put out a lot of AI content. So like I'll just describe something in a couple sentences, and the Canva image generator is like really good too. And I'm actually just kind of surprised. One thing you'll run into with using Dolly 3, which uh, the image generators just haven't gotten there yet. They'll like put like text and everything, and the text will be like kind of scrambled and just not great yet. But what you can do is, let's say you're creating a YouTube thumbnail, describe of kind of what you want, and then if it has like a text, it's just all weird. Uh, Download that image, throw it in Canva, and then put that text, the right text over it, and that's how you can save a ton of time too. Or better yet, get a VA. Weekly, I do trainings and stuff. What I train my VA on now isn't like, okay, very specific task that I need her to do. What I'm training her on is basically ChatGPT and all these things, and how I use it, and to that. So now she's learning very well. So I'm paying her way less than what my time's worth, and how to use ChatGPT. So I'm also scaling it that way, saving money, getting someone trained up. And now she's got all the info on how I talk and everything else. So now I can create content a lot easier at scale and time saving. It's all about time saving, really.
How close, and is it already there, to start to finish like a turnkey system with like an IG post or a YouTube post where you're like, okay, I'm going to go film say like we did a podcast like this. Can you just simply put it in there and say, optimize this, SEO optimize this, choose the title, tags, description, and then we'll go and actually post it and create the thumbnail basically. So it's like, how close are we to where it's just literally film a podcast like this and put it into something, and then it'll time it, post it, and literally do start to finish where you don't even have to worry about that? Is it there already, or is that coming? I'm assuming, but because there's a lot of working parts into that process.
Yeah, we're kind of the tip of the iceberg on everything, and so the revolution of AI is just going to be absolutely crazy this next decade. Next decade. So like what I do, so like let's say film the podcast. So what I do with this podcast, I throw the transcript into Otter.ai, get that. I throw it in ChatGPT, and I have a customized prompt that's like a 7-step prompt. So I ask it so I'm like, hey, I need 10 catchy titles is a first step. And it'll give me 10. I select from one of those titles. We go in a second step. Like, all right, now that that's your title, next, I'll give you keywords. I use medium-tailed keywords. It seems to work best for like the size of my channel. I don't have like, 2 million viewers or anything. But so I want medium-tailed rather than short-tailed keywords like, AI for realtors, like AI for realtors crafting a listing description. So I have it programmed to do that. And then so it'll give me the keywords and stuff, and then I'll approve it. And then the next step, it'll craft a description. So, and it'll utilize those keywords within that description and make it flow naturally. After I approve of that, then it'll give me 10 thumbnail ideas with text. I select them, which one I like the best, and it'll use that. And then it'll go into creating some images that I can use in my thumbnail. Now, after I had that, then I fill in the stuff on YouTube and stuff. If I want to create shorts, Then I will use Opus, especially for podcasts and stuff. Really great on finding the right clips for it, and then you got to tweak it a little bit, but it'll automatically generate your stuff. So then you got that for your shorts off of that podcast, and then so that's basically what I was training my virtual assistant on 2 weeks ago. We went over that, so now she knows. So now, as soon as that podcast is done, every week it's automatically uploaded into the file. She takes that and she does all that stuff now. So to replace a virtual assistant yet, especially when we're using a bunch of different programs, not there yet. And especially since everyone's doing something a little different, to have like a one thing that just does it all. I don't think we're there just yet, because the focus is on like getting the GPTs better, like the image creation, the even like the wording and everything else, and getting it to have a better understanding. So not that I know of, but and you also mentioned something about like talking your voice, talking in different languages. So there's like HeyGen, where you can have it create different voice. So I was just talking with someone in Vancouver, Canada. It's got a lot of Chinese speakers, Mandarin and stuff in his market, who are buying up houses and stuff there too. So we talked about how he can take like do like a step-by-step process of like the home buying process, and you can film videos or have it automatically created also through AI, but then have that and then have it speak in Mandarin. So so they know the buying process up in Canada really well. So that's like a huge opportunity for us to kind of break that language barrier. So I mean, it's just like the opportunities are just so big, and it's just super exciting to see where we're going, because no one knows for sure, but there's just we definitely are building that foundation that it's going to be a lot of fun.
So you're seeing that quite often. Like, I mean, I haven't really looked at the channels. You may or may not, but like PBD has all these channels coming out in different languages. Mr. Beast, is that all they're doing? Is that you think they're just taking their original content and then putting it through the system and this translating it? But and then like if you do that, how does that like work with like the voice, like the lips and the syncing of it? Is it just kind of like one of those old movies where it looks like it doesn't really sync up, or does it like actually come out? Because I haven't really looked into it, and I know you're doing a lot with different AI things, but I don't know how much you've looked into this side of things. But then how would that work? Could I take my channel right now here and just like put it into this, and it's going to create my channel again in any language I want?
Yeah, we do have the technology to do that. To take
Crazy.
your video and create. What's that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so,
like,
and then and then it's looking like really real too. Like there's all this stuff about deep fakes and everything else, and so how we're gonna tackle that, all the deep fakes, which is already kind of becoming an issue, but focusing on positive, that you can scale yourself. So being able to do like 50 different languages, and it's not like the dubbed over movies. Like it actually has your mouth moving at the right times, and everything else, and like literally right now we can after like 3 seconds of talking, it can start creating videos of it's pretty decent with your voice. Of course, the more information you feed it, the better it's going to be. But it's crazy that we're at like 3 seconds now of being able to pull in a voice.
Yeah, it's happening so fast. I think I was like watching something the other day, just like a week ago, and there was like a dispute over legalities of like Taylor Swift having fake nude photos or something that weren't her, but they were AI generated, but they're still like, so it's not even real human. Like we're in like this whole wild, wild west day where people are doing crazy stuff. But I mean, I was just like, whoa, this is getting nuts where, I couldn't even believe it. But anyways, what's so a lot of people are using thumbnails. Like you've seen even Vinay has that new, it's like an AI version. And then like Ricky Caruth has that. What are they using to create those thumbnails? Like where, I'm talking about where it looks like you, but it's is that ChatGPT, or are they using a different tool? And then does, I don't even know, this is probably a pretty high level question, but like, is the YouTube algorithm picking that up where it's seeing that differently than just like a traditional, you know, camera pick or whatever? And maybe give your take on that, just because I've seen a lot of people doing that here recently, and I was even thinking about maybe trying a couple to see if it was worth doing it, because it does stand out, because it makes you say it kind of looks like that person, but it's not, and it makes you focus on it,
Yeah.
because that's all we're trying to do on a thumbnail, is to capture people as they're scrolling through the thread, which gets them to look. Now they have attention. Now you have the more likely, there's a higher likelihood that they click it now because they're looking at it, which can increase your click-through rate, and then that can increase your, you know, all the other algorithms once they're on the video.
Yeah, I can't tell you exactly what program they're using and stuff. We were actually just talking about this a couple hours ago on my call, about like taking a portrait of yourself and then like having it like done like, okay, you in a suit, you more casual and stuff. And we actually had a discussion about this and how like the image creation is just not totally there yet for like all the different things that they'll use, because it's kind of like preset templates. And like I did it once on, I can't even remember exactly what AI I used to like generate different images, and some of it just didn't even look like me, and some of it's just like I did not like. And then on the question as far as where will YouTube / Google start like demonetizing us, or not kind of shadow banning us for using it. I don't think so much on, and this is, I'm not saying I got any information on this, but just for what my experience, I don't feel that Google on or YouTube will, kind of shadow ban you on the thumbnail portion. And that might just because the image creation just isn't there yet. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this all goes down. But I definitely think Google will, if it's like AI detected on like blog posting and stuff, which is another thing I use ChatGPT for. But I run it through undetectable to make sure it's not AI. So it's kind of like you bring up a good point. So possibly. So you want to make sure that you are on the forefront of it to make sure that you don't have that situation where you're starting to get like these YouTube videos kind of shadow banned. But yeah, it's just about being on the forefront and just making sure you kind of know where things are going. My personal opinion is no, that won't happen, but who knows? Things are moving fast.
So like you haven't used undetectable and people are doing that. What's your opinion on why Google is doing this? Do you think it's because they're coming out with their own AI technology and they want to kind of control the marketplace and not have these other third-party companies competing against them? Or what do you think I don't understand why they would. I mean, it's going to help people get more content on YouTube, which is what they're trying to do, get more content, better content, and better content, the higher watch time. And they're an advertising company. So they're trying to do that. That's why they reward you for watch time. And, people click through and not popping off videos. But do you know why they're doing it, or is it just a kind of a guesstimate? I mean,
I think it's kind of the same reason why Google didn't like you, 15 years ago, copy and pasting someone else's article and stuff, because you're not creating original content and stuff. So Google is obviously they're an advertising company basically, but they also, their original thing is trying to give the match people with their search intent. That's going to help them. Now, as far as all this like very generic AI content, I don't think they just want a ton of bots try and game the system, because then you're not getting much original content. And also, you're kind of hurting like just the people like who are paying for ads and stuff like PPC and stuff. So I kind of feel like the fact that making it less AI generated and more human like, so you're actually putting your own flavor on it, you're putting your own spin, you're kind of what we talked about, why it's important to make it talk like you and avoid AI detection, is because you are putting out like natural content. And so I don't see any benefit for Google to just keep on, seeing people searching to an AI generated page on everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be helpful, because if you're just saying to AI generated pages, then, it's, getting people to pay for ads and stuff. If like, well, shoot, this is just all, AI bullshit. So
And it makes
that's my
sense.
opinion on it.
Yeah. I mean, I saw something like where people were asking ChatGPT and it was pulling like articles from like New York Times. Was it like maybe the New York Times was suing them or something? I forget what it was. I saw something out there, and maybe it's that they're pulling information from public sources, which is how it has to get it. Because if it's still in the mine, it's not out there. So all it can work with is public sources, and then if it's using similar keywords or phrases or paragraphs, then I can see where that can create a conflict of interest, especially if it was written and owned by a certain company. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything, any other? Do you want to go on to that a little bit?
Oh, no, I think, no, you're right, because I mean, like, Google's great about like promoting, like, or not promoting, but allowing platforms for creators. Because I mean, that's been a big change the past like 10 years, is rather than like the big corporate, the New York Times and everything, like, oh, everyone's going there, but now it's a platform that like actual people can create content and actually succeed on their platform. Um, so, I don't know why they would want to, destroy that, because that's advertising dollars right there too. So that's, but that's just an
I'll
opinion
just have,
of mine.
I just had an idea for your next caller. Maybe
Yeah.
test this. Take like a major like worldwide topic, like say like Ukraine or Russia or something like that, and you could type in like go through all the news from the U.S. and then compare it to all the news coming from out of the Ukrainian sources and all from Russia, and so you can see the perspective, because wherever you're at, you're getting fed what they want you to,
Yep.
if that, you get what I'm saying, like propaganda, right? So it'd be interesting to take some worldly topics that and look at them from the perspective of the origination source on how every party sees it different, and then you can kind of look at it comparing them different. I don't know, have you ever thought of that or tried anything like
Yeah.
that? But I think that
Yeah,
would
no,
be
I've played around with that, uh, many, many months ago. I'm like, upload an article. I'm like, what do you say? Do you think this is left leaning or right leaning? Like, well, it kind of sounds like left leaning. It's like, hey, rewrite this article, same tone and everything, but make it right leaning. And they spit it out. Exactly the same info, kind of, but it was just like so different. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then like, there are places,
yeah.
forgot what one is, but where it will like give you like tell you like, oh, this is kind of left leaning. And then like, here's another article that's more right leaning. Here's one that's a little more center. So you can actually like be able to like quickly like go through and figure it out. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is pretty funny. Like it's like,
This
I don't know.
first election year with the AI is going to be that's gonna be crazy this year for sure. I couldn't even imagine what's gonna happen in like the last half of this year as we get closer to election time. So we got maybe like 10 more minutes here. Is there anything specific, like any tools or things you're using that we didn't really touch on? We've talked a lot about some of the good ones, AI Detectable, Opus. Some of these. Is there any that we haven't gone into that you think are kind of crucial, or is there anything that you would just want to bring up that you would think is important? And then I'd love for you to share how they reach you and if they want to come to your mastermind. And then also, guys, James is one of the top leaders coming up in the Wolfpack. You have the opportunity to work with him as well. You can actually reach out to him, and if you want me to be on the call and want to talk to us about joining us here in the group and some of the stuff we do behind the scenes, just feel free to reach out to him, and we'll put his contact information below. But any ones that you think are anything that we haven't gone into that I wouldn't even know to ask the question about, being kind of a novice in all this stuff?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I actually use it for. I built my last business based on like website SEO without knowing anything. I didn't even know how the internet worked, and I built a very successful construction company off of doing that. I just dove in and I learned as I went, and that paid off very well. But the other thing, actually, I went through two teams of lawyers because they just weren't cutting it, and they were charging me, $350, $400 an hour for stuff that I'm just like, I waited 2 weeks for this, and I have to go and proofread it and what I'm doing, I'm loading up the ChatGPT, and I'm like, hey, I'm asking it questions about this. So, anyways, so what I did was actually fire all my lawyers and actually filed a case myself, a jury trial. And so this is actually pretty recent. And then like I only had this is 500 miles away where the district is that I'm filing the case in. So I only had like 5 hours to get this all. It's like I've never filed a lawsuit before, and they don't really want to tell you how to file a lawsuit. Well, I used ChatGPT, got all this stuff, and in 5 hours I was able to put everything together to file a thing, which took my lawyers a couple years before they even got to that point. I did it in 5 hours with the help of ChatGPT. There's no way I would have been able to do that before. And I would have spent more of my 5 hours just going through their stuff and correcting their mistakes. So, I think what's kind of fun with AI, well, maybe not fun, maybe kind of scary about AI, is that before automated, before automate, or we had automation and stuff for like, building cars and everything else. So some of those cities like up by Detroit, Michigan got really hit hard and are starting to become, kind of run down and places you can't sell. And because, automation and outsourcing and stuff replaced a lot of that. So we saw that with a lot of blue collar jobs. Now, AI now it's becoming apparent it's kind of coming after the white collar jobs. So obviously lawyers, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
because there's, I don't know if you heard this, like there's a lawyer who got in big trouble for using ChatGPT and didn't know how to use ChatGPT. And ChatGPT gave like just made up some references and stuff. But if you know how to use it, you can avoid that from happening. So yeah, lawyers, doctors, and stuff, they cannot easily pivot with the AI revolution because they're rattled in student loan debt. Now, us as realtors, we've got a huge opportunity because as long as we're using it and staying in the forefront of it, we know sales, we know customer service, we know how, real estate, we know how to pivot and things. A lot of us, this is second, third careers being in real estate. So, being able to pivot for us, way easier. So we are actually in a very good spot for this AI revolution that we'll be experiencing here. So if you remember the internet, internet moved really quick. Well, remember back when you got the internet where you'd have to like plug it into the phone jack, wait till after 8 p.m. when your parents are off the phone and you can actually use it because they're going to clog up the phone line just so you can get on AOL Instant Messenger. And then there's 5 years, and then we had DSL and stuff. And it's like, wow, that's just groundbreaking. That's 5 years. That stuff type of progress is happening in like 5 months, and it's like scaling exponentially. So that's what is really exciting. So we are in a good spot. So I wouldn't be scared of it, but I would say you got to start using it. Start just playing around with ChatGPT because it's going to save you time the more you learn in the long run.
Yeah.
So
good. Get rid of all the shiesty attorneys that have been screwing me over for years. I've had nothing but attorneys. Man, it's unbelievable.
As an investor and stuff like.
Jeez.
But
yeah, I had just one string me along here just recently, and he probably screwed me out of $8,000 just for complete nothingness. And literally, like he went through like 4 systems in the same time period. Not to call his name. His name is. Just kidding. I won't do that on this call. But it's good to know that the real estate agent's not going to go away and maybe even get better. Maybe we're going to see a big influx in licenses in 2024 and 2025. All these ex-attorneys. Just kidding. But yeah, that's pretty crazy because, yeah, I mean, unless there's like a human element that's tied to emotion or something physical, like, our business is still tied to real estate, which is real. It's not just in the cognitive side, meaning text and data and information floating around. And you still have to have the emotional touch to understand a client and what they're looking for and how to work with them. It's just going to be a facilitation of making things that we're doing easier. And, but yeah, I mean, if you're in just like a strictly, hey, look at these data points and it's based off like a law or something like that, it could be something that could cause, long-term issue for your industry. So it's curious to see how that all plays out. Everybody, what's your take on like the AI robot revolution and all these movies, and that we're going to end up being like iRobot and hopefully not, right? Or is it head that direction?
Well, I think that is the biggest
I don't like the hesitation,
question.
James. I don't like the
That,
hesitation.
well, here's the thing. Like, I'll just talk about like on as far as realtors, that this will make our lives easier, but will we have to scale more? Yeah, I mean, you look at before, um, before 2009, 2010, before we all had smartphones, you could like go home after work and you did not have to worry about answering emails and everything else. And now you're always on, basically. You
Right.
set your constraints. So there, that side of it. Um, if I can draw a parallel to it, would probably be more. So that's why it's so important to be on the forefront. So like when I think my first YouTube video was like in 2013 I made. And like they were terrible. And so like, I'm gonna look back at myself in a couple of years and I'm like, man, I didn't even know anything because just how
Right.
things but you wouldn't learn what you knew about like smartphone and stuff unless you were using a smartphone. Um, so yeah, so the fact about being on the forefront. So like let's say you're 18 and stuff right now, and like if I was 18 at this time in my life, well, I really dive in and like prompt engineering and stuff and be on the forefront of it. And because it's very quickly you're going to be better or more experienced than 99% of the people, and then people are going to start looking at you for how to optimize their business stuff. So huge opportunity. You just like our entire human existence is staying on the forefront of stuff, but now it's just happening so much quicker. So now you really
Yeah.
have to go at it.
Well, man, I think you did a really good job touching on kind of the one-on-one parts of a lot of these different platforms. Now, obviously, you go into a lot deeper dives on, you can't do a lot on like a 1 hour podcast, but this is what he does every week. He's got you want to talk about your mastermind. And then also if you're an agent and you want to work with us guys, the thing is you can join James anywhere where EXP really operates. It's a global brokerage. So you guys know our Wolfpack organization was number 2 globally last year for net growth in the company. You can partner with James and his group in any state, Canadian province, or anywhere where EXP operates. So if you came across this, even if you're in Europe or Australia or Japan, that's crazy, the brokerage that we work at. So how would they reach you? And then maybe talk about your mastermind a little bit, and then we'll wrap this one up and we'll put his information below. And if you guys want to have a conversation with James and I, we'll meet you guys on Zoom. But yeah, I think you did a good job kind of painting some pictures and creating some thought processes that people are going to kind of run off with. And if they want a little bit more of a deeper dive, how do they reach you and how do they get into your mastermind?
Yeah, so a couple of different ways. The best way to stay updated is just go to my Instagram, James Hund _real estate. Fairly easy to find. I post content on there, different tips and tricks on how to use AI. Now, and then also have Agent Power Hour, which currently we are holding this Friday mornings at 10 a.m. I'll drop, I guess I could just drop the link to sign up below. And then once you have access to that link is where I'm going to have, the current call schedule, because we might be changing things up a little bit because we want to provide even more value to people. But currently you can join on that call. The most exciting thing that I've actually been working for about 6 months on that I'll be releasing here pretty soon. I'm almost there, but also production pays bills. So I created a website, theelevatedrealtors.com, and that is going to be very AI focused. And so you can I'll have stuff on open house tips, tons of stuff on AI, SEO. That you can gain. A lot of that stuff's going to be for free, and then I'll also be rolling out a AI course when you partner with me that you would also get for free as well.
Nice.
So yeah, that is about it. I mean, I could be talking for several more hours, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity thank you for the platform, and you've just been so great on helping me grow my business, and with how many agents you have and everything else, and be able to have this platform that I'm able to actually do this online as well with with my production as well. So Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, and no problem. And you're doing the same thing out there. And it's cool that you've even opened up your mastermind for other Wolfpack agents and even other XP agents. Like, you don't have to do that. So it's super generous of you to do so. But guys, reach out to James. Make sure to go give him a like and follow on his social media platforms and follow him around. If you liked the podcast, obviously enough to get to here, go show him some love. And other than that, James, I'll see you when I see you, brother, on the next mastermind call. And you guys have a good day. And we'll see you on the next one.